Well, good morning. Good morning. Members, please take your seats. Members, please take your seats. Bring all of those conversations in from the ante room. The hour for convening having arrived, all members will please take their seats. Mr. Clerk, will you please ring the bell? We're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? You look like you were present, but I wasn't sure. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the gentleman from the 162nd House District, my dear friend, Chairman Carl Gilliard. Representative Chairman Gilliard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, good morning, my brothers and sisters. The Bible says, enter into his gates with praise and thanksgiving. And if you've entered into the gates of the house on the day and he's been good to you, why don't you stand to your feet and give the Lord a big hand of praise if you can. Oh, enter into his gates. Let us rejoice the Lord together. That's when you go to the speaker's church, that's what happens. Let me say this. When you're coming from your city of Savannah or all across the state of Georgia, and you're used to eating at home, and you're away from home, and you can come to Stone Mountain, Georgia, and get some food. I want to tell you that that's what I've been doing for the last almost 6 years. And I've had an opportunity to listen to our chaplain of today internationally on TV, internationally. He is known for a word for the times. Many of you know that this ministry of Berean Christian Church has over 48 plus ministries. Dr. Kerwin B. Lee started out in 1996 with just about 200 members when he formed Berean Christian Church. Now with over 10,000 members, with ministries that feed the people physically and feed the people's soul. It's not every day that you can get a joy of the Lord sermon and at the same time something that convicts your heart to be able to lift your hands in adoration and to be able to worship in spirit and in truth. I want to give you just a parable of his bio. And if you would bear with me on today, I would say to you that Dr. Kerwin B. Lee was raised in Los Angeles, California. And after graduating from high school, he attended Central Arizona College. And after a basketball scholarship, he obtained his associate's degree, continued his studies at the University of Alaska, Fairbanks, and also a basketball scholarship, and received a bachelor's degree in elementary education. But while in Alaska, he accepted his call to preach and prepare for full-time ministry. Seeking to develop himself ministerially, he moved to Atlanta and enrolled at the Interdenominational Seminary, Morehouse School of Religion, and received a Master's of Divinity in Christian Education. He later matriculated through Luther Rice University and earned a Doctorate of Ministry. He's happily married to Yolanda Thomas Lee, and they are the proud parents of 2 sons, Kerwin II and Kernod. I want to bring to you right now, and I pray that you receive him, the pastor, the senior pastor of Berean Christian Church, Dr. Kerwin B. Lee.
Good morning to all of you, and what a real joy it is to be here. And I'm grateful for this day, one we've never seen before. And when it's all over, we shall never see it again. Somebody once said that every day above ground is a good day. And I like to say every day above ground, and you know you're above ground, is a better day. Because you can be above ground and not even know it. So we're grateful for this day, to our wonderful speaker, Speaker Burns, and to Brother Carl Gilliard, House Representative, who've invited me on today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and to all of you. There's a passage of scripture that I want you to read when you get a chance. It's found in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9. The writer is a man by the name of Solomon, and Solomon is known to be the wisest and the wealthiest person to have ever lived. And I think whenever someone is the wisest person and the wealthiest person has something to say, we should listen. Because all of us have been guilty of taking advice from people who weren't that wise. And likewise, we've all taken some advice from some people who didn't have no money. Solomon is the wisest and the wealthiest person to ever have lived. And Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9, he says this: 2 are better than 1. 2 are better than 1 because they can help one another succeed. 2 are better than 1 because they can help one another succeed. And whenever I think about that passage of scripture, I'm reminded of this farmer who lived in the country, and he had a very strong horse by the name of Blue. The only thing with Blue, Blue was strong, but Blue was blind. And what this farmer would do is he would walk about 5 to 8 miles with Blue every day, headed toward the city. And he would look for people who were stranded and needed help. And he would always say to them, "Would you like my strong horse Blue to help you?" Some people would accept the help, some people would not accept the help. But that was this farmer's job every day, to take his blind horse Blue toward the city, find people who needed help, and ask them, "Would you like for Blue to help you?" And one day he found a man whose car had drove off in the ditch. And when this farmer saw this man standing and stranded by his car, he said, "Would you like my blind horse Blue to pull you out of the ditch?" And the man said, "Sure, sure, sure." The farmer told the man to back up, and he said, "Pull, John, pull, pull, John, pull, pull, Craig, pull, Craig, pull, Sue, pull, Sue, pull, Melinda, pull, Melinda, pull, Blue, pull, Blue." And Blue pulled that car out of that ditch. The man who was the owner, he was astonished. And he said, "I thought you said your horse name was Blue." He said, "It is." He said, "Well, why did you call all those other names?" He said, "Because Blue works harder when he feels like other people are working with him." Said if he feels like he's pulling all by himself, he doesn't work hard. But when he feels that others are working with him, and I want to say to you, your job for the state of Georgia is to pull, and to not pull by yourself, but to pull together. Would you turn the people around you and say, let's pull for Georgia. Let's pull for, come on, tell them pull, 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 pull. Because guess what? We work better when we work together. And I pray that we keep pulling for the betterment of the state of Georgia. Everybody holler out, pull, pull, pull. Let us pray. God, how we thank you, how we honor you. Thank you, God, that this task that you have assigned to this house, they don't have to do it all by themselves. Thank you for the people that you have surrounded all across the state to help us to pull for the betterment of the residents of Georgia. I pray now, God, for their decision-making ability, and I pray, God, that you would bless them in all that they do, and that we would continue to look to you to help us to be better. Thank you for this day and the amazing decisions that will be made to help the betterment of those who reside in this great state. This is our prayer in your Son's name, and they all said, amen. Let's do our Pledge of Allegiance.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Members may greet and have a photo with Reverend Lee over in the South Ante room, and just keep on pulling. Chair recognizes Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal from the previous legislative day and found it to be correct. And just a little something else to think about. When you think things are going against you, always remember that airplanes take off into the wind, not with the wind.
Never thought about it that way, Chairman Tarvin, but you're exactly right. I'll see how that serves us all in the future as we pull together. Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative Session of the 101st moves the following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 531 by Representative Barrett of the 24th, Williamson of the 112th, Hilton of the 48th, and Seabaugh of the 34th. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 36 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to local government.
Banks and banking.
House Bill 532 by Representative Camp of the 135th. Bill be titled an act to provide that future elections to the office of Chief Judge of the Magistrate Court of Pike County shall be nonpartisan.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 533 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Willis the 55th, and Thomas the 65th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 7 and Title 48 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to income taxes.
Ways and means.
House Bill 534 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Bruce the 61st, Beverly the 143rd, and Williams the 168th. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 7 and Title 44 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to landlord and tenant generally.
Governmental affairs.
House Bill 535 by Representative Thomas the 65th. Bill be titled Act to amend Title 20 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to education.
Education.
House Bill 536 by Representative Thomas the 65th. A bill being titled Act to amend Chapter 7 and Title 48 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to income taxes.
Ways and means.
House Bill 537 by Representative Evans the 89th, Ballard of the 147th, Cooper the 45th, Paris of the 142nd, Maynard of the 56th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Title 20 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to education.
Education.
House Bill 538 by Representative Ballard of the 147th, Wade of the 9th, Irwin of the 32nd, Jones of the 47th, Gilliard of the 162nd, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to elementary and secondary education.
Education.
House Bill 539 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd. A bill be titled Act to provide that the judge of the probate court of Wilkes County shall also serve as the chief magistrate judge of the magistrate court of Wilkes County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 540 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd. A bill be titled Act to create a board of elections and registration for Wilkes County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 541 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th, Hitchens of the 161st, Crow of the 118th, Saints of the 180th, Scoggins of the 14th. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 6 Title 40 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions relative to uniform rules of the road.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 542 by Representative Mathiak of the 74th, Knight of the 134th, Daniel of the 117th. Bill be titled an act to repeal an act to incorporate the city of Sunnyside.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 543 by Representative Reeves of the 99th, Smith of the 18th, Silcox of the 53rd, Leverett of the 123rd, and Gunther of the 8th. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 1512-122 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to ban of jury panels.
Judiciary.
House Bill 544 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, Scott of the 76th, Hutchinson of the 106th, and Davis of the 87th. The bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 1511-503 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to detentions, decisions, and findings.
Juvenile justice.
House Bill 545 by Representative Cannon of the 172nd, Corbett of the 174th, Dick of the 145th, Rhodes of the 124th, Houston of the 170th, and others. A bill being titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 8 of Title 2 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to agriculture commodity commissions generally.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 546 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, Stevens of the 164th, and Parrish of the 158th. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 26.4.5 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to definitions relative to the Georgia Pharmacy Practice Act.
Health.
House Bill 547 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th. Bill being titled an act to amend an act to provide a new charter for the city of East Dublin.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 548 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, Beverly of the 143rd, Gilliard of the 162nd, Scott of the 76th, and Cannon of the 58th. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 48.740.26 of the official code of Georgia annotated, the Georgia Entertainment Industry Investment Act.
Ways and means.
House Bill 549 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Carpenter of the 4th, Stevens of the 164th, Bonner of the 73rd, and Seabaugh of the 34th. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 7 and Title 50 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to the Department of Economic Development.
creative arts and entertainment.
House Bill 550 by Representative Buckner, the 137th bill being titled Act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to sales and use taxes.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 551 by Representative Davis, the 87th, Drenner, the 85th, Schofield, the 63rd, Taylor, the 92nd, Barnes, the 86th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 1613-2 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to conditional discharge.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 552 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. The bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions regarding professions and businesses.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 553 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Hutchinson of the 106th, and Schofield of the 63rd. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 4 of Chapter 11 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to dangerous instrumentalities and practices.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 554 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd, and Hutchinson of the 106th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 4, Chapter 11 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to dangerous instrumentalities and practices.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 555 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd, and Hutchinson of the 106th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 11 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to offenses against public policy, against public order and safety.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 556 by Representative Smith of the 18th Annual, 117th, Hilton of the 48th, Green of the 154th, Miller of the 62nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 34 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to labor and industrial relations.
Industry and Labor.
House Bill 557 by Representative Stevens, 164th, Jones the 47th, Parrish the 158th, Powell the 33rd, Schofield the 63rd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 34, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to physicians, assistants, and others.
Public and Community Health.
House Bill 558 by Representative Jones of the 25th, Dubnik of the 29th, Hatchett of the 155th, Perkel of the 169th, Corbett of the 174th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to care and protection of indigent and elderly patients.
Special Committee on Health Care. Mr. Clerk, suspend just for a moment.
How are you? You good?
Which one are we on, Mr. Clark?
I think we're about to do HB 559.
I think that's the one.
Ready?
No. I can't hear. Look, both ante rooms are empty. I can see both of them. Take your conversations out there. I can't hear. And I can't assign bills unless I can hear what the clerk's reading. So please take your conversations to the ante rooms. Much appreciated. Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 559 by Representative Draper of the 90th, Olalier of the 59th, Gullett of the 19th, Blackman of the 146th, Carpenter of the 4th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to primaries and elections generally.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 560 by Representative Mathiak of the 74th, Powell of the 33rd, Hagan of the 156th, Jaspers of the 11th, Gunther of the 8th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 11 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to offenses against public order and safety.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 561 by Representative Carter, the 93rd, Mitchell, the 88th, Kendrick, the 95th, and Oliver, the 82nd. A bill to be titled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 11 and Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions regarding preparation for and conduct of primaries and elections.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 562 by Representative Jones, the 25th, Barrett of the 24th, Hilton of the 48th, Burkle of the 169th, and Cox of the 28th. The bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 14 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to education accountability.
Education.
House Bill 563 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd, Gunner of the 8th, Reeves of the 99th, Martinez is the 111th, Holcomb of the 81st, and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 19 to Title 45 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, the Fair Employment Practices Act of 1978.
Judiciary.
House Bill 564 by Representative Williams, the 37th, Oliver, the 82nd, Buckner, the 137th. Bill be titled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 2, Chapter 8 of Title 12 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to solid waste management.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Resolution 278 by Representative Parsons, the 44th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on Civics Education in Georgia.
Special Rules.
House Resolution 279 by Representative Glaze of the 67th, Barnes of the 86th, Lallier of the 59th, Clark of the 108th, Douglas the 78th, and others. A resolution creating the Joint Head and Heart Student Health Study Committee.
Public and Community Health.
House Resolution 281 by Representatives Lallier of the 59th, Evans the 57th, Glaze of the 67th, Green of the 154th, Irwin of the 32nd, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Lottery Revenue Reserves.
Higher Education.
Senate Bill 90 by Senator Dixon, the 45th, Gooch of the 51st, Alvarez of the 56th, Still of the 48th, and Kennedy the 18th. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to selling and other trade practices.
Banks and Banking.
Senate Bill 108 by Senator Burns, the 23rd, and Anderson, the 24th. Bill being titled an act to amend the act providing for a 7-member Board of Education in McDuffie County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
Senate Bill 120 by Senator Eccles of the 49th, Hatchett of the 50th, Still of the 48th, Donazell of the 27th, Beach of the 21st, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 40.1.8 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to safe operations of motor carriers.
Motor Vehicles.
Senate Bill 178 by Senator Kennedy the 18th and Lucas the 26th. A bill entitled Act to amend an act known as the Macon Water Authority Act.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions.
House
The
Bill
clerk
490
will read. I apologize. The clerk will read.
House Bill 491 by Representative Drenner of the 85th, Carter of the 93rd, Evans of the 89th, Davis of the 87th, Thomas of the 65th. A bill relating to general provisions regarding conservation and natural resources. House Bill 492 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, a bill to amend an act to provide a new charter for the city of Hartwell. House Bill 493 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th, Newton of the 127th, Oliver of the 82nd, a bill relating to renewal, surrender, restoration of registered professional nursing licenses and continuing competency requirements. House Bill 494 by Representative Glaze of the 67th, Negese of the 68th, Gladney of the 130th, Alexander of the 66th, and Taylor of the 92nd, a bill relating to corporations, partnerships, and associations. House Bill 495 by Representative Drenner of the 85th, Carter of the 93rd, Evans of the 89th, Davis of the 87th, Thomas of the 65th, a bill relating to conservation and natural resources. House Bill 496 by Representative Donahue of the 31st, Byrd of the 20th, Smith of the 18th, Mathis of the 149th, Horner of the 3rd, a bill relating to crimes and offenses. House Bill 497 by Representative LaHood of the 175th, Williams of the 148th, Seabaugh of the 34th, Thumbson of the 12th, and Hitchens of the 161st, a bill relating to health. House Bill 498 by Representative Mathis of the 149th, Green of the 154th, Bentley of the 150th, Beverly of the 143rd, Smith of the 18th, and others, a bill relating to licenses and funeral directors and embalmers. House Bill 499 by Representative Hitchens of the 161st, Dempsey of the 13th, Smith of the 70th, Stevens of the 164th, and Ballinger of the 23rd, a bill relating to general provisions regarding alimony and child support. House Bill 500 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Reeves of the 99th, Hilton of the 48th, Chokas of the 151st, Daniels of the 117th, a bill relating to arson and explosives. House Bill 501 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Williamson of the 112th, Barton of the 5th, Werkheiser of the 157th, and Reeves of the 99th, the bill relating to regulation of employment of minors. House Bill 502 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Hawkins of the 27th, Dempsey of the 13th, Newton of the 127th, the bill to amend the Georgia Cosmetic Laser Services Act. House Bill 503 by Representative Hawkins of the 27th, McDonald of the 26th, Yerta of the 152nd, Gullett of the 19th, Barton of the 5th, and others. A bill relating to income taxes. House Bill 504 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th and Jones of the 25th. A bill relating to local 5 mill share funds. House Bill 505 by Representative Chokas of the 151st, Silcox of the 53rd, Hilton of the 48th, Daniel of the 117th, Reeves of the 99th, the bill relating to riot. House Bill 506 by Representative Earhart of the 36th, Irwin of the 32nd, Jaspers of the 11th, Knight of the 134th, Dubnik of the 29th, the bill relating to education. House Bill 507 by Representative Ridley of the 6th, Smith of the 18th, Bonner of the 73rd, Williams of the 148th, Tarvin of the 2nd, a bill relating to beauty pageants. House Bill 508 by Representative Ballinger of the 23rd, Hilton of the 48th, Reeves of the 99th, Daniel of the 117th, Chokas of the 151st, and others. A bill relating to restraining orders and protective orders. House Bill 509 by Representative Ballinger of the 23rd, Hilton of the 48th, Reeves of the 99th, Daniel of the 117th, Chokas of the 151st, and others. A bill relating to burglary. House Bill 510 by Representative Barnes of the 86th, Beverly of the 143rd, Clark of the 108th, Owl of the 50th, Oliver of the 82nd, and others. A bill relating to elementary and secondary education. House Bill 511 by Representative Horner of the 3rd and Tarvin of the 2nd. A bill to amend an act to provide a homestead exemption from all Catoosa County school district ad valorem taxes. House Bill 512 by Representative Kendrick of the 95th. A bill relating to imposition rate, computation, exemptions, and credit relative to income taxes. House Bill 513 by Representative Clark of the 108th, Owl of the 50th, Cannon of the 58th, Barnes of the 86th, a bill relating to competencies and core curriculum under the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 514 by Representative Washburn of the 144th, Bazemore of the 69th, Reeves of the 99th, Lim of the 98th, Ridley of the 6th, and others. A bill relating to zoning procedures. House Bill 515 by Representative McCollum of the 30th, Powell of the 33rd, Jaspers of the 11th, Wiedauer of the 121st, Ridley of the 6th, a bill relating to motor vehicles and traffic. House Bill 516 by Representative McCollum of the 30th, Jaspers of the 11th, Ballinger of the 23rd, Carpenter of the 4th, Hagan of the 156th, a bill relating to exercise of the power to contract by the Department of Transportation. House Bill 517 by Representative Washburn of the 144th, Bazemore of the 69th, Smith of the 18th, Lim of the 98th, Ridley of the 6th, and others. A bill relating to buildings and housing. House Bill 521 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, Cooper of the 45th, Hawkins of the 27th, Douglas of the 78th, Newton of the 127th, a bill relating to medical assistance. House Bill 522 by Representative Fry of the 122nd, Drenner of the 85th, Washburn of the 144th, Roman of the 97th, Gullett of the 19th, and others. A bill relating to property owners associations, covenants, and warranties. House Bill 523 by Representative Williams of the 168th, Jackson of the 128th, Lim of the 98th, Mitchell of the 88th, Hughley of the 141st. A bill relating to alternative ad valorem taxes on motor vehicles. House Bill 524 by Representative Ridley of the 22nd, Powell of the 33rd, Ridley of the 6th, Yerta of the 152nd, Montana of the 17th, and others. A bill relating to motor vehicles and traffic. House Bill 525 by Representative Ridley of the 22nd, Powell of the 33rd, Ridley of the 6th, Yerta of the 152nd, Clark of the 100th, and others. A bill relating to procedure for sentencing and imposition of punishment and cancellation. House Bill 526 by Representative Ridley of the 22nd, Reeves of the 99th, Horner of the 3rd, Clark of the 100th, Miller of the 62nd, and others. A bill relating to enforcement of rules and regulations regarding restoration, operation, and sale of watercraft. House Bill 527 by Representative Barnes of the 86th, Taylor of the 92nd, Carter of the 93rd, Owl of the 50th, Maynard of the 56th, and others. A bill relating to common minimum facility requirements for public and elementary secondary schools under the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 528 by Representative Gaines of the 120th, Sains of the 180th, Smith of the 18th, Wiedauer of the 121st, Burchett of the 176th, and others. A bill relating to deceptive or unfair trade practices. House Bill 529 by Representative Williams of the 148th, Lumpson of the 12th, Gunter of the 8th, a bill relating to insurance and motor vehicles and traffic. House Bill 530 by Representative Burchett of the 176th, Smith of the 18th, Leverett of the 123rd, Gunter of the 8th, a bill relating to depositions and discovery. House Resolution 255 by Representative Drenner of the 85th, Thomas of the 65th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on Environmental Justice. House Bill 256 by Representative Perkle of the 169th, Houston of the 170th, resolution honoring the life of Miss Sophia Ruth Fisher and dedicating an interchange in her memory. House Resolution 257 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, McCollum of the 30th, Daniel of the 117th, Camp of the 135th, Gamble of the 15th, and others. Resolution requesting the United States Congress call a convention under Article 5 of the Constitution of the United States. Senate Bill 13 by Senator Alberts of the 56th, Robertson of the 29th, Duggan of the 30th, Payne of the 54th, Beach of the 21st, and others. A bill relating to where and when sales under execution held and change of place of public sales by court order, sales made on foreclosure under power of sale, procedures for sales under tax levies and executions. Senate Bill 61 by Senator Strickland of the 17th, Duggan of the 30th, Walker of the 3rd of the 20th, Anderson of the 43rd, McLaurin of the 14th. A bill relating to the use of sick leave for care of immediate family members. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees, the clerk will read.
Representative Yurd of the 152nd District, Chairman on Committee on Code Revision, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Code Revision is that under consideration the following bills of the House and the Senate. It's instructed me to report same back to the House following recommendations. House Bill 475 do pass. Senate Bill 23 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Yurd of the 152nd District, Chairman. Representative Chris Irwin of the 32nd District, Chairman on Committee on Education, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Education set under its consideration the following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 318 do pass by substitute. House Bill 402 do pass by substitute. House Bill 338 do pass by substitute. House Bill 51 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chris Irwin of the 32nd District, Chairman. Representative Rhodes, the 124th District, Chairman on Committee on Game Fish and Parks, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Game Fish and Parks has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 244 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Rhodes of the 124th District, Chairman. Representative John LaHood of the 175th District, Chairman on Committee on Governmental Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Governmental Affairs has had under consideration the following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 269 do pass. House Bill 306 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative John LaHood of the 175th District, Chairman. Representative Hawkins, the 27th District, Chairman on Committee on Health, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Health has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 414 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 416 do pass. House Bill 343 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Hawkins of the 27th District, Chairman. Representative Jesse Petrie of the 166th District, Chairman on Committee on Human Relations and Aging, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Human Relations and Aging has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. Instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 309 do pass. House Bill 497 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Jesse Petrie of the 166th District, Chairman. Representative Bill Werkheiser of the 157th District, Chairman of the Committee on Industry and Labor, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Industry and Labor has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. It has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 518 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Bill Werkheiser of the 157th District, Chairman. Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman on Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination and Locals, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination and Locals had under its consideration the following bills of the House and the Senate. It's instructed me to report the same back to the House with following recommendations. House Bill 354 do pass. House Bill 391 do pass. House Bill 422 do pass. House Bill 519 do pass. Senate Bill 6 do pass. House Bill 395 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman. Representative Tyler Paul Smith of the 18th District, Chairman on Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Non-Civils had under consideration the following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 88 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 332 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Tyler Paul Smith of the 18th District, Chairman. Representative Mandy Ballinger, the 23rd District, Chairman on Committee on Juvenile Justice, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Juvenile Justice has had under its consideration following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with following recommendations. House Bill 291 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Mandy Ballinger, the 23rd District Chairman. Representative Lynn Smith, the 70th District Chairman on Committee on Natural Resources and Environment, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Natural Resources and Environment has had under its consideration the following bills in the House. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 53 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 273 do pass. House Bill 336 do pass. House Bill 396 do pass. House Bill 436 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Lynn Smith of the 70th District, Chairman. Representative Rick Jaspers, the 11th District Chairman on Committee on Transportation, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Transportation has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. Instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 189 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Hagan of the 156th District, Vice Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Members will please take your seats. We do have a local calendar this morning. Members will please take your seats. One bill on the local calendar relates to homestead exemption and requires a recorded 2/3 roll call vote for passage. Mr. Clerk, third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. For what purpose does Whip Burchett rise?
To make a motion.
State your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I motion the House Bill 422 be removed from the calendar and voted separately.
Representative Burchett moves that HB 422 be removed from the local calendar and voted on separately. Mr. Clerk will read the caption, please.
House Bill 354 by Representative Campbell, 135th Pike County. House Bill 391 by Representative Green of the 154th Early County. House Bill 422 by Representative Burchett of the 176th Ware County. House Bill 519 by Representative Parrish of the 158th Emmanuel County. Senate Bill by Senator Burns of the 23rd City of Sylvania. House Bill 395 by Representative Huddleston of the 72nd Heard County.
On the gentleman's motion that HB 422 be removed from the local calendar and voted on separately, is there objection? Does the gentleman move?
Moves.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered. HB 422 is removed from the local calendar. Is there any objection to the previous, Mr. Clerk? I think you've read the local calendar now. So members, our posture is we will vote on the local calendar without HB 422 on this vote. We will be voting separately on HB 422. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of the local calendar, the yeas are 165 and the nays are 0. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. Now we'll move on to voting on HB 422. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption again to HB 422?
House Bill 422 by Representative Burchett of the 176th Ware County.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar, HB 422? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill on the local calendar will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. For what purpose does Representative Burchett rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, isn't it true that this simple local bill is to reconstitute the Board of Elections to adhere to a Georgia Supreme Court case? Isn't that true, Mr. Speaker?
If the gentleman so states. For what purpose does Representative Park rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true there's concerns that this bill would set a dangerous precedent and that it would make local boards of elections completely partisan?
If the gentleman so states, I'm sure he's of that opinion. For what purpose does Representative Maynard rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Can Chairman Burchett explain what the Supreme Court case is, because I'm not sure what it is?
Can the gentleman, thank you. I'm sure if the lady needs to know what that is, maybe the whip can enlighten us just a little bit in a parliamentary inquiry. So for what purpose does Representative Burchett rise again?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr.
State
Speaker.
your inquiry, Representative.
Mr. Speaker, isn't it true that in DeLay v. Sutton, the Georgia Supreme Court ruled that it is unconstitutional for a private entity to appoint to a public board? Public boards exercise government control. Private entities are not elected by their constituents, and they're not held to the same standard as public officials are. And also, Mr. Speaker, isn't it true that precedence has been set by the Supreme Court?
I'm sure the gentleman's a learned lawyer, and he certainly believes the points he just made. For what purpose does Representative Maynard rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Just because I don't understand and we're in the middle of a vote, so is a private board somehow regarded in this local legislation that the Supreme Court case you just referenced?
I think that was an affirmative. For what purpose is... I love it when a plan comes together and y'all can look. So hopefully y'all will get together before the vote next time. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of the bill, on the local calendar, HB 422, the yeas are 96, the nays are 68. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. For what purpose does Representative Draper rise?
Is a parliamentary inquiry germane at this point?
Not at this point. The passage of the bill is already complete. We're going to move on to morning orders now. And we have a number of people signed up for morning orders. We have a long list and a short day. So if other than the first gentleman, and he can take just as long as he likes, because he may have some important information for us. We'll see. We'll see about that. But we'll ask the members to pay attention to your time limit when you come to the well so we can move on through. So we'll start our morning orders with the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Chairman Hatchett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this has nothing to do with appropriations.
Well, you have,
Y'all, this is
you have 1 minute then.
Y'all know this is February. Next month is March. The best day in March is March the 17th. And there happens to be a little community down on the coast that celebrates March the 17th, and maybe the day before or the day after. But on your way down there, there's a community about 2 hours this side of Savannah called Dublin, and we celebrate St. Patrick's all month long. We've been doing it since 1966. It's a family-friendly festival, and it has been run since 1966 with volunteers. And today we're honored to have the group that is volunteering this year that's running our festival. It's the St. Patrick's Executive Committee, and please welcome them and give them a hand.
I bet they have on green coats up there. Welcome, Dublin, and thank you for that family-friendly St. Patrick's Day Parade. I want to pause just for a minute and take a minute of personal privilege. A great public servant in our state is in the gallery today. Former Representative Secretary of State Kathy Cox. Where is she? There she is. Welcome back to the House. It's great to see you. Thank you so much, and thank you for your service. We're also now going to acknowledge our Doctor of the Day, and we're going to have Representative Rhonda Taylor of the 92nd to come and introduce our Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today's doctor is Dr. Carmen Echols, who is a board-certified family medicine physician. She received her bachelor's degree in biology from Xavier University of Louisiana in New Orleans. Her medical degree was from Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, and she completed her residency and internship in family medicine at Georgia Health Sciences University in Augusta, Georgia. Her most recent physician experience includes Emory Stonecrest Primary Care, but she has over 10 years of service in the DeKalb area. Dr. Echols' special medical interest includes adolescent medicine, diabetes, hypertension, women's health, and integrative medicine. She is a member of the American Academy of Family Medicine, Georgia Academy of Family Physicians, and the Obesity Medicine Association. Dr. Echols is a proud wife, mother, and dog owner who enjoys volunteering community service, West African dance, outdoor activities, attending cultural events and festivals, traveling, and gourmet cooking. Colleagues, help me welcome our Doctor of the Day, Dr. Carmen Echols.
Good morning, members of the House. I want to say thank you. I am honored to be here serving as your physician of the day and continue making the state of Georgia great. All right, have a good morning.
Dr. Echols, what kind of dog do you have now?
I have a Cane Corso mix, and I used to have an English Bulldog, but he passed through the heart failure.
Okay. Good dogs. Man's best friend, right? And woman's best friend as well. Representative Schofield is recognized for a morning order. There she is. And she has friends. Representative Schofield.
All right.
Excuse me. Can I get my 45-minute speech now?
No.
Oh, darn.
I got 2 minutes. Yes.
You gotta make sure they can
Thank you.
I love the purple. This is good. Am I in your face?
This is good.
I don't want to run over Doreen Carter.
The whole house.
You back
That was
up,
so
that's
crazy.
my phone. Don't think anything else.
Everybody.
All right. Shh. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Speaker, colleagues, and my lupus family in the gallery. Please stand. Today is Lupus Advocacy Day. Since 2008, people that are living with lupus, impacted, and caregiving for someone with lupus have come to the Capitol to advocate for funding, research, and better health resources, especially in the rural community where there's no rheumatologist. Well, we're back again. And we're in the gallery in the House and Senate, traveling across the state, some even from your districts, to once again proclaim that lupus still sucks. Thank you to my colleagues for every year being caped lupus warriors. Lupus is not a Democratic or Republican disease. The Sea of Purple is a great showing of bipartisan support. As legislators, we stand together, legislate, and advocate. As this is my 23rd year this month of being diagnosed, I'm grateful for the work of the Georgia chapter of the Lupus Foundation and to all those in the lupus community that never give up. Join us today for our rally at 12:15 in the South Wing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative Schofield, and all the lupus champions and those in the gallery. Welcome. Good to have y'all. Chair Lady Lynn Smith, if you'll make your way down. Chair Lady Smith, for a morning order. Members, if you'll give your attention to the member in the well. Chair Lady Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm joined by the Coweta County delegation and friends and supporters of this wonderful group. To my guy friends in this chamber, if you would read line 2, you would understand in the resolution I put on your desk that recognizing May 18, 2023 as the Georgia World Organization of China, line 2, China Painters Day, and for other purposes. If you're confused, if your wives ask you to buy something like this, it has been hand painted by this wonderful group in the back of the gallery. So all of these people are phenomenal China painters, very talented, and they are joined by people from all over the world who are keeping this wonderful art alive. And for those of you who are curious, already I have questions for how do I get one, so I will be getting back in touch with y'all on that. But they're China design paintings. Some of them are in front of my office, 228 at the Capitol. There is a display for you to go see. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We yield the well.
So members that have signed up for a morning order, you got to pick up the pace a little bit. We have 13 more morning orders. So you need to be done in less than a minute. Representative Glaze is recognized for a morning order.
So today is CTAE Day at the Capitol. And so we stand here with this resolution to continue to make sure that DOE and our CTAE, which is Career Technical Education Month, February 23rd, all of our career and technical student organizations that are here at the Capitol today, would you stand, please, and so we can recognize you in the gallery. Devin Babak, Dr. Barbara Wall, Diana Izagari, Olivia Steiner, we appreciate you bringing our students today. If it were not for organizations like CTI, DECA, FBLA, and FFA, and many more, we would not have the type of solid foundation for our youth here in Georgia and across the nation. This makes sure that we follow in business and economic development in this state. Our students, your organization will continue to be leaders tomorrow, and we commend you today for your great work in CTAE. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Y'all do great work for our students. Representative Wade, recognized for a morning order. And friend,
At least one.
Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Speaker. Colleagues, I'd like you to help me welcome two folks from back home, two pastors, my pastor, Jack Pilcher, and Chris Anderson, who happens to be this gentleman's cousin, and he's a pastor. And if he were a member of this House, he would be an additional member of the Funeral Home Caucus. But we welcome them. And I wanted to send this message. They are praying for every single one of us, no matter party, no matter part of the state. They're praying for all of us. And they came down here this morning to let you know that they're praying for you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for what you do. God bless. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you for those prayers. Representative Lim is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to welcome the Hopkins Elementary School Student Council. Would you all please stand? Like many of you, student government was my very first experience in elected office. It was probably to date my finest campaign. Let me tell you, those Marvin the Martian posters were a hit. But much more importantly, it taught me really to listen to our constituents and not promise beyond our capabilities. With that, because I believe in letting people speak for themselves, I'm going to share a brief message directly from them. Thank you for representing our state and the interests of our people. Thank you for listening to us and helping to make our community a better place. We are the eyes and voices to bring safety and security to our school, and we look forward to collaborating with you on our ideas. Thank you all so much for being here.
Absolutely. Welcome, young people. Representative Gullett, recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I want to recognize East Paulding County High School DECA's programs here with us today. It's the 7th largest in the state, and it's the largest CTSO program at East Paulding High School. Today we have Maddie Smith, who is president, Caroline Dunn, Isabella Walker, Madison Beatty, Tyler Jones, Jake Sandy, and advisor Haley Bissell. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Gullett, and friends as well, and welcome. Representative Al is recognized for a morning order, and she has friends as well, too. A lot of friends, good friends.
Good morning. I rise today to recognize that today is CPR Awareness Day at the Capitol. For patients who suffer sudden cardiac arrest in the field, meaning outside of a hospital setting, the most important factor for survival, as we've seen recently, is whether they receive immediate high-quality CPR and rapid defibrillation to restore normal cardiac rhythm. Unfortunately, only about 46% of patients experience sudden cardiac arrest get that help they need before EMS can arrive to the scene. So today, the American Heart Association is going to be providing CPR training at the Capitol in room 230. Please take advantage of this opportunity. Also, the Medical Association of Georgia is presenting a Stop the Bleed program at the same time, so please avail yourself of this excellent training. Further, we'd like to recognize in the chamber today Ms. Dawn Wales and the Gainesville City School staff who saved the lives of not just one, but 2 students at their school for providing immediate bystander CPR and defibrillation. If you would please stand to be acknowledged. Thank you so much. Thank you all for the work you do.
Representative Horner is recognized for a morning order. He has a group here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm honored today to welcome my local county GOP. Please stand up, guys. They have worked hard, and like many of you guys, they're here to represent their county, like myself, and they have done a wonderful job in making sure that everybody in Catoosa County has a place to go to have a voice heard. So please, everybody, welcome them. They've drove a long way.
Good to have y'all in the People's House. Representative Hagan is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am so happy to welcome to the gallery today a group of students from Vidalia High School. If y'all would please stand up there. There they are. They're from 2 different career and technology student organizations, Skills USA and HOSA, which is a club for health occupation students, and they are led by their fearless leaders, Mr. Jackson Sharp and Shelley Cleghorn. So glad y'all are here, and welcome to the People's House.
Welcome, Representative Ken Vance, recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we all know, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Today I am privileged to have in the People's House youth leadership of Baldwin County over here on my right. If they'll please rise, I'd appreciate it. They're in the gray shirts, and they are learning the way. Thank you, sir.
Chairman Jasper, Jones, Barrett, Cox, Clark, McDonald.
It sounds like it's a great crowd.
What a group, what a group.
Yes, sir. Well, those of us who represent Forsyth County are very, very proud of our top-rated school system. And the Sharon Springs Robo Knights won first place in the first Lego League Championship. It's a robotic championship, and we're so excited to have them here today. They're going to be competing in the national competition later this year. We're very excited for them in April. They're going to be in the Transportation Committee today to do our presentation at 1 o'clock. Come if you'd like to see it. But you folks, will y'all please stand so we can recognize your first place championship. And also, Mr. Speaker, Wendy Wing, their teacher's with him, and she's an outstanding educator.
Good to have y'all all here. If you keep working on that transportation committee, you can make some big improvements. Thank you, Ms. Wing, for bringing your class. Thanks for being here. Chairman Parrish. Chairman Parrish is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it's my pleasure to recognize in the gallery today a group of young people from Metter, Candler County. They are students at the Metter College and Career Academy. Would you please stand so that we could recognize you? Thank you all for being here, and things really are better in Metter. Thank you.
Oh, that was my line, Mr. Chairman. Things are better in Metter. Good to have y'all. Representative McLean, recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, it's very seldom that I come to the well, but it's a great day for me. I have my 2 daughters and 3 of my 4 grandsons up in the gallery, and I'd like to say thank you. I have 4 grandsons and I have 2 daughters, and I told them, and the youngest, Miles, he's waving. Miles, he wanted to come down and see exactly what we do in the house. So glad to have you all. Just wanted you all to know, love them. Thank y'all very much for being here. Thank y'all for welcoming them.
Hey, Granddaddy, what do they call you? What do they call you?
What do y'all call me? Miles, what do y'all call me? Say it, Miles. Grandpa.
Grandpa. Grandpa. That's better than Big Papi, but we're going with Grandpa. Representative Townsend is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hey, I'm honored to recognize the Glenn County CTI group. Students and staff, please stand up. Dr. Carissa Hicks and her team, they do an amazing job. They're learning how to get great skills in high school and apply it in the workplace, in the field. Again, thank you, Glenn County.
Great. Good to have y'all. Members, we'll ask you all to come back to the floor, if you will. We have one more morning order, and then we have a very special resolution that we want to bring to all the members. So members, please return to your seats. Okay, Chair Lady Camp, Mathiak, Chairman Knight, and Chairman Dickey recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I'm excited to say that Gordon State College, which is located in Barnesville, Georgia, is here today. Chairman Mathiak and Chairman Knight and Chairman Dickey and I all have constituents who are at Gordon State College. Are you in the gallery this morning?
They escaped already.
Oh no, they escaped. Well, I would like to recognize them and thank them for being here today to learn more about the work that's done in the People's House. Thank you.
Great job. We'll welcome them back next time. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to a resolution?
House Resolution 273 by Representative Parrish, the 158th, Jackson, the 128th, Deloach, the 167th, Smith, the 139th, Taylor, the 173rd, and others. A resolution recognizing February 23rd, 2023 as Community Health Centers Day and commending the Georgia Primary Care Association.
This is a good one, so listen up. Listen up. Chairman Parrish.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure for me to present to you a group of folks who have done outstanding things in our state. It's the Community Health Center Association. The mission of the Community Health Center system is to improve access to comprehensive primary care services for medically underserved Georgia. Community health centers are also known as federally qualified health centers, FQHCs, because they receive federal grant dollars to assist in providing health care to the underserved and underinsured. Community health centers in Georgia began their work over 50 years ago, partnering with communities to bring access to health care in areas that are medically underserved. Currently, there are 35 health center organizations. All are nonprofit, governed by a local board of directors comprised of community leaders and patients. Collectively, these 35 organizations have 231 clinical sites in 130 of Georgia's counties. Many of these clinics are in rural communities where there's limited access to care. Each year, over 660,000 patients are served by these health centers throughout Georgia. On your desk is a map showing where the health centers are located. And I like to tell people the House has led the effort to color in this map. We still got a few spots that we need to finish out, but I think the House can take credit for what you've done as leaders in the past. And as we strive to increase access to health care in our rural communities, these community centers do their part by providing care for pregnant women, children, and families as a medical home, including pharmacy, dental, chronic disease management. School-based health centers, which this House has also been a leader in, are a growing innovation to keep students healthy as they grow and learn. In the gallery are leaders of community health centers from all across this state. We'd ask them to stand, and would you join me in recognizing these folks in the gallery up there, thanking them. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. R.B. Tucker, who is president of the Association for Georgia. R.B.
Thanks, Speaker. Thank you. Good morning. Mr. Speaker, Chairman Parrish, and members of the House, on behalf of the 35 members of the Georgia Primary Care Association, thank you for this honor and this recognition. Part of our mission is to help ensure quality health care services for all underserved Georgians. These services include family medicine, internal medicine, women's health, pediatrics, behavioral health, dental, and vision. We currently deliver these services for over 730,000 Georgians. These services are delivered from 230 sites in 130 counties. We have sites from Ellijay to Valdosta, from Columbus to Brunswick, from Savannah to Bainbridge. There's even one in Ocilla, Georgia. There is at least one site in every district in the state. Thank you for your continued support. In closing, thank you for all of y'all's service and the sacrifice that you make for this great state. Please know that Community Health Centers will do our part to keep Georgia the best state to live and to work. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all, and thank you all for being here. Members, you members that have been here for a number of years, you've supported the FQHCs in our state, and thank you for that. For you new members, make sure you get informed about what these folks do for our citizens in this state, whether you're in urban Georgia, rural Georgia, wherever you reside, wherever your district is. They do great work. Chairman Taylor has been a champion, Chairman Parrish, and many others in this House, I can't name them all, have been great champions for making sure the House led the way and funded the start up on this great program. So thank you all for what y'all do for the people of this state, and we are very pleased that y'all would be in the House with us today. Thank you. That concludes our morning orders. We'll move on to the rules calendar. The clerk will read the caption to HB 142. HB 142.
House Bill 142 by Representative Maynard, the 56th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to campus policemen so as to provide for the establishment of unified campus police forces through agreements entered into by colleges and universities. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Maynard is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Speaker. I am presenting House Bill 142, which is a community bill. This bill represents 10,000 students in historically black colleges and universities in the state of Georgia. The Atlanta United Center Consortium is the only consortium in the entire United States. Those colleges consist of Morehouse College, Morehouse School of Medicine, the Interdenominational Theological Center, Spelman, Clark, and Morris Brown. This bill passed out of the House last year. It passed out of the Senate last year. They made some changes on the Senate side. It just did not make it back for the agree, disagree. This is a community vote for students. Why this bill is important is twofold. Because the universities are all collected together, a police officer in Spelman, on Spelman's campus, cannot help students on Clark's campus. By uniting the police force into one united police force, they save money. Not only do they save money, but they can potentially save lives. This bill was presented to the committee with a letter from every single president of the Atlanta United Center University Campus Center. And we also have a letter from Legislative Council that says this is an opt-in. This in no way affects any other university. This just allows these universities to opt in to an agreement so they can share police force and cross boundaries to protect students. And I will answer any questions.
The lady does have a question. Will you yield for a question?
Yes.
Representative Barnes from the 86th has a question to your left.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the lady yield?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Is it not true that this bill will allow faster response times to all of the universities if we unify the police force?
It absolutely will make faster response times. In fact, there was a incident at the Woodruff Library, which is located on Clark's campus. Police officers from another campus actually could not even assist the incident on Clark's campus because this agreement was not in place. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Lady yield for another question.
Yes.
Chair recognizes Representative Carter of the 93rd for a question.
Thank you, Speaker. Does the gentle lady yield?
Yes.
Could you explain to me how the different police departments in the 3 schools or the 4 schools on that particular campus, how will they handle the financial responsibilities? Will those current police officers will no longer be employed by those individual schools? Would there be a created entity? How would that function?
So right now, all of the universities collectively are under the title Atlanta University Center Consortium. Okay. So the Morehouse Police, Spelman Police, they will keep all of their current structures. By name only, they are now a combined police force, so the police captain and chief for each campus, everything will remain as is. They will have one person over all of them, but each campus will still have their individual chief that will designate what they've already been doing.
Okay, I hear you, but I'm not sure if it's clear, and I can talk to you later about that. And does the gentle lady further yield?
Yes.
Now, is this legislation specifically for the AU Center, or is this for all universities that are close to each other? That they'll be able to collaborate, and have you spoken with the other systems around the state of Georgia to ensure that they support this legislation as well?
Yes, so we had the Sheriff's Association, the Police Association, the University System of Georgia, the College Association, of just the private school networks. Everybody came and testified in support of it. We made changes as needed. It only affects the Atlanta University Center because they are the only consortium. But if Emory and another university wanted to do such thing, they have the opt-in ability. Everybody has an opt-in ability to do it, but it was definitely needed for the AUCC because of their proximity. No other campuses are in that close proximity in the state of Georgia.
Thank you for answering my questions. I just want to know how to answer the questions of the officers from the various school districts, the school systems that are going to call us, because now their jobs are going to be very different than what they are right now. So thank you.
Their presidents of each university sign letters of support. So
there are no further questions.
Thank you. I yield the will.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 157, the nays 2. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to HB 222-222?
House Bill 222 by Representative Lumpson of the 12th and others to be entitled an act to amend Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance so as to clarify, streamline, and make transparent the practices of the Department of Insurance. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Insurance, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Eddie Lumsden is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, I bring to you House Bill 222. This is a department bill that comes as a request of the Insurance Commissioner. It's a bill that clarifies the Insurance Department's practice in 4 areas of the Insurance Code. The first change adds language that makes it clear that the Insurance Department only regulates service contracts that are sold to individual consumers, not corporate consumers. The second change deals with probationary insurance license and extends the period of a probationary license from 12 months to 24 months. The third change deals with reapplication for an insurance license when the license application is denied. This allows the commissioner to let applicants reapply between 1 and 5 years after a refusal. Right now, they have to wait 5 years. Some license refusals or revocations are less serious or for less serious reasons than others, so this gives the commissioner some discretion. And the fourth change simply removes a reference code to a section that no longer exists. Mr. Speaker, that's the bill, and I would appreciate your favorable consideration.
So you have no questions. Excellent job on your explanation.
Thank you, sir.
Chairman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bills, the yeas were 167, the nays are 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to HB 319-319?
House Bill 319 by Representative Martin of the 49th to be entitled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 3, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to scholarships, loans, and grants so as to abolish the Georgia Higher Education Assistance Corporation. This bill having referred to the Committee on Higher Ed, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
The chairman of the Committee on Higher Education, Chairman Martin, is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be very brief here because of the time, and I'll answer questions if people have them. What House Bill 319 seeks to do is to abolish a portion of the Georgia Higher Education Assistance Program, and this program isn't needed anymore because Congress changed the law in 2010. The loans that you used to oversee no longer are available, so we don't need this. This lowers government. The reason the bill is so long is because there are references all throughout state law to this that needed to be deleted. The operative section is on page 2, lines 20 through 29. This gets rid of something in state government we don't need, frees up a little over $25 million that can drop into educational funding. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I ask you for your favorable consideration to pass House Bill 319 to lower the cost of government, put more money into education, and simplify matters for citizens in the state. I'll stand for any questions.
Gentleman has no questions.
I yield the well.
Is there any, the gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 171, the nays 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to HB 165?
House Bill 165 by Representative New of the 64th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 50-1872 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to when public disclosure is not required relative to inspection of public records. This bill having referred to the Committee on Natural Resources and Environment, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative New, are you new to the House? Representative New is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And to answer your question, I'm a new woman every day. Thank you.
Touche, you got me.
Thank you, members of the House. Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about House Bill 165. This is a department bill. It is a cleanup bill requested by the Department of Natural Resources to address an oversight in previous legislation. In 2020, the Historic Preservations Division was transferred from the Department of Natural Resources to the Department of Community Affairs. In this transfer, Agora exemption for sensitive historical and archaeological records was moved from the Department of Natural Resources to the Department of Community Affairs. However, the Department of Natural Resources still houses our Office of Archaeologists. So this houses our historical sites, cemeteries, and Native American burial grounds. So this bill would simply restore that exemption to ensure sensitive archaeological sites would continue to be protected. I yield for questions.
You do have a couple of questions. The chair has one first. Are you suggesting this House made a mistake in 2020 when we first perfected this bill?
The lady would never suggest that, sir.
Oh, thank you. Chairman Wiedauer is recognized for a question to your right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I yield.
So this is really a measure to protect items of significance on property. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, I mean, I think we would all appreciate, our own protection of property at our own homes. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
You further yield?
I yield.
So I'm just curious, do you or do you not actually have a swing on your back porch?
I do.
I won't. I will leave that alone. Thank you.
We won't follow that line of questioning any further. The lady from the 150th House District, Representative Bentley, has a non-funeral home question, I'm sure.
Strawberry Queen, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I yield.
I heard you mention cemeteries in your presentation. Can you explain to me, and this is a serious question, can you explain to me exactly how this legislation is going to impact cemeteries in the funeral home industry?
This is historical sites, archaeological sites, that the cemeteries that are of historical natures, that's what this encompasses.
No new business.
It would be your customers after the fact.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear on what that meant for cemeteries. Thank you
Yes,
so much for
ma'am.
the explanation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think you're safe, Representative Bentley. The gentleman from the 17th House District, Representative Montahan, has a question in the rear on the right.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I yield.
I see here on line 4 of your bill that you're providing for an effective date. Now, have you considered that your bill may not pass and give us an exact ineffective date?
The lady yields the well.
The lady, you have one more question, I think.
Yes, sir.
Just one more. Maybe two. The gentleman to your left in the rear, Representative McLean, has a important question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I yield.
It's probably one of the only Native American with a card in his pocket. This is going to take care of all the Native Americans' land as far as all of our Indian mounds and artifacts?
Yes, sir. This will protect them from looting, vandals, and anybody that wants to go Indiana Jones on them like Casey Carpenter.
Thank you. I appreciate this bill, and you have my vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
The lady has one final question, I think, from a neighbor of yours. Chairman Tyler Paul Smith, to your left, has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I yield.
Okay, this is really a serious question. I see here in the bill on line 14, the structure of this bill would not necessarily just limit it to these historic resources or properties, but also affects properties near those, does it not?
That is correct.
Okay, my question is this, and you may not have had anyone ask you about this. Would this also prevent the department, or allow the Department of Natural Resources to withhold information concerning landfills close to these historic resources?
That is a very good question.
Okay, thank you.
That would
You
be
have
one
no
that we
further
would have to
questions?
To the DNR.
I think this, I don't know if this dealt with landfills or not, Representative. I think you have a good bill, and we appreciate your presentation and your answers.
Thank you, sir. I yield the well.
Good job. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. Report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? If so, have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. Representative New, there is a rule against that, and you just paid the consequences for calling out a dear member. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 169, the nays 1. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. clerk will read the caption to HB 36.
House Bill 36 by Representative Martin of the 49th to be entitled An Act to Amend Chapter 5 of Title 4080 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated related to ad valorem taxation of property so as to revise the language required to be included in the notices of current assessment. This bill then referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Martin is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll try to be brief again with you today. House Bill 36 is the mirror image of House Bill 1224 that this body passed 147-0 on March 11th, 2022. It landed over in the Senate where foolishness does tend to occur and slowed us down. But this bill, for the folks that weren't here in 2022, is a taxpayer-friendly measure that allows, does not require, it allows a taxpayer who has personal property valued in excess of $200,000 to appeal directly to a hearing officer. Many times there's complex personal property involved in business or manufacturing, and today the law would require you to first go to the Board of Equalization, which would be 3 citizens that wouldn't necessarily have the technical knowledge to solve the situation. So it's not good for the taxpayer, it's not good for the county, and oftentimes goes to Superior Court. We all know our Superior Courts are clogged with other cases, and more important, so this will allow a taxpayer on their motion to get to a hearing officer and get a determination of the fair value of that property faster. With that, Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I'll yield well and ask favorable consideration of this taxpayer-friendly measure.
Would the gentleman yield for a couple of questions?
Yes, sir.
The lady from the 35th, Representative Campbell, has a question to your left.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Does the gentleman yield?
Absolutely.
For a point of inquiry, please. I have asked around the chamber. There seems to be a question and would love to understand, and could you explain on line 26 and other references, how this impacts wireless properties?
Yes, I thank the lady for the question. It has no impact. That is in the same section. Wireless properties that are referred to in lines 26 through 29 already had a direct appeal to a hearing officer. This adds another opportunity for personal property over $200,000 to go to that same process. It is reformatted from the current law. Mr. Travis up in the Legislative Counsel office, because this does print on a tax bill, so he reformatted some of that language, but there's no impact, increase or decrease for the accessibility of wireless carriers with more than $500,000 of personal property to go. Impacts them not at all. It's reformatted. Thank the lady for the question.
Gentleman, yield for one more.
Absolutely.
Representing Park Cannon to your left from the 58th.
Yes.
Thank you. Do you yield?
Yes.
Just a question about how this impacts our counties, specifically how Fulton County feels about it.
The counties have not been in opposition. The counties have wondered about where they would get the hearing officers with the knowledge, and we're still working with them on that. But the issue is this: if the answer is not arrived at the Board of Equalization, when you have a taxpayer and 3 citizens, just like you and I, that don't have the expertise, it'll go to Superior Court, at which case the county will incur the cost of the Superior Court time, another expert to go and appear in Superior Court. So the counties are interested in finding the right public hearing officers for this, but in reality this just moves this a step earlier so that they don't have to use it in Superior Court. If that answers the lady's question. There's not opposition. We are working with them because they are concerned about providing the hearing officers with the adequate knowledge and talents to solve it at that point in the process.
Gentleman has no further questions.
If no further questions.
Does the lady want to follow up?
I'll go and speak. I'll answer the question, Mr. Speaker. I'll
Representative Cannon, if you'll
yes,
let
sir.
her have a follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So has ACCG weighed in on it?
Well, we are talking with them. They're not in opposition to the bill. Again, they realize, as I've spoken today, that this will streamline the process, and the cost will either be incurred at the public hearing or at the Superior Court. As it currently lists, as current law allows, there would be a Board of Equalization hearing, and then almost always you're appealed to a Superior Court because you don't get the proper answer. So this doesn't add steps to the process. This, in fact, takes one away. And they have not expressed opposition at the ACC level, nor have I heard from Fulton County this year or last. And we passed it 147-0 last year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Efficiency in government. I always like to hear about that. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? The clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 170, the nays 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to HB 95?
House Bill 95 by Representative Knight of the 134th and others to be entitled an act to amend Title 4080 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to revenue and taxation so as to revise the terms Internal Revenue Code and Internal Revenue Code of 1986 and thereby incorporate certain provisions of the federal law into Georgia law. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
This is always a spell-binding subject, Chairman Knight, so bring it to us and let us hear what we can do. Chairman Knight to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I notice we're about 7 minutes till lunchtime here. I'll ask you if we can hold over to about 12:15. That should do it as this titillating explanation of the IRC update. All seriousness, probably many of you, I've carried this bill for a number of years. This is probably the smallest IRC update bill that I've ever carried since doing it around 05-06. As many as you know, we reconcile to the federal tax code. Every year we start with the federal AGI, and what we have to do is update that. Smallest bill that we've seen. Fiscal impact is really almost nil. I've seen it where we've had hundreds of millions of dollars each year. This one is much less than that over a 5-year period. And most of this is timing issues and also allowance for retirement type contributions in the Roth area. But with that, again, the importance of this bill is that we have taxpayers out there that need to file their Georgia tax return. In order to do that, we need to get this bill through House, Senate, signed by the governor so that the software companies can update their tax code or their tax software in order for our preparers to be able to accurately prepare these returns this year. So, Mr. Speaker, with that, I'll yield for any questions.
You have no questions.
If there are none, thank you, and I appreciate y'all's continued support of this. And let's
well,
get it
we
out
have
here.
a last second one. Will you take one question?
Yes, sir.
Representative Glaze has a question to your left.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you yield, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So is it not true that the IRC is important to all of us who are taxpayers in Georgia, and without this going forward, we would not be able to comply?
In some cases, yes. If you happen to be one of these changes that we've got to reconcile this year, and it affected your tax return, absolutely, you're correct. It could affect you in a sense if you filed, and we have to come back and maybe refile or amend a return because we didn't have this in here in time. Yes, ma'am, you're correct.
So in order for us, do you continue to
Yes,
yield?
ma'am.
So in order for taxpaying citizens of Georgia to pay our taxes properly, we need to continue to make these upgrades.
Yes, ma'am. We want to do it timely and accurately.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I yield the will and ask for your favorable consideration of HB 95.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? The clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 172, the nays 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to HB 138?
House Bill 138 by Representative Crowe, the 118th, to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 48540 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to definitions for property tax exemptions so as to update the population bracket and census date for a certain property tax exemption for certain leased property. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Crowe is recognized to present the bill. Representative Crowe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, this is House Bill 138, a repeat from last year. We passed this bill unanimously last year. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get through the Senate. What it does is it updates the population bracket to identify Butts County. Persons in Butts County that are on Georgia Power lease lots on Jackson Lake are able to claim homestead exemption. This bill was first enacted prior to 1980, and the population bracket has to be updated every 10 years when there's a new census done. With the 2020 census being done, we need to update the population bracket. Like I said, we missed last year. We weren't able to get it through the Senate, so we are simply changing the numbers, updating that bracket that would identify Butts County based on the 2020 census. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I will yield for any questions.
You have no questions.
Thank you. I yield the will and ask for your favorable consideration.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 170, the nays 1. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, if you'll read the caption to HB 162.
House Bill 162 by Representative McDonald, the 26th, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 4080 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to income taxes so as to provide for a one-time tax credit for individual taxpayers who filed income tax returns for both the 2021 and 2022 taxable years. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
The gentleman from the 26th House District, Governor's Floor Leader, Representative McDonald, is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Fellow colleagues, today I bring you House Bill 162. This bill is kind of mirrors a bill that we did last year, HB 1302, that was for the 2020-2021 tax season. This one is for the 2021-2022 tax season. The only change that we have in this bill, different than HB 1302, is in lines 20 to 22, and that's for that high school worker, that dependent, that they can claim a $250 tax liability that they've been working, even though they are claimed as a dependent. This bill is, we've had a surplus in Georgia. We've done really well for the past 3 years, and I feel like it's our responsibility to give the money back to the taxpayers that's theirs, and I yield for any questions.
The gentleman has no questions.
Mr. Speaker, I yield the well. I ask for your favorable consideration.
I had a late questioner there, if the gentleman will yield for one question. Representative Holly is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I appreciate you bringing this bill. My only question is, while it's in a good measure to be able to give taxpayers their money back, wouldn't it possibly be better for our chamber to consider in the future the possibilities of having an earned income tax credit, even though I will vote in favor of this bill?
Well, if the gentleman so states and believes that, I'm sure he knows what he speaks. Mr.
Gentleman
Speaker,
has one more question to your right, Chairman Martin, and that's the last one.
Yes, sir.
Gentleman, the floor to yield.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that every year we come down here and the governor does a revenue projection, and based on that projection, we create a spending plan to spend an amount less than or equal to the amount of revenue he projects? Isn't that true?
That is true, sir.
Further question, isn't it true that this is a good faith effort and a commitment to the Georgians that the revenue estimate exceeded that which the governor projected? We stayed within our spending means, and we're giving the money back to the taxpayers that paid it. Isn't that true?
The gentleman knows what he speaks. Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 170, the nays 2. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, if you read the caption to H.R. 66, H.R. 66.
House Resolution 66 by Representative Gamble of the 15th and others, a resolution ratifying Governor Brian P. Kemp's executive order numbers 5/26/2202, 7/1/2202, 8/3/2202, 9/1/2202, 10/3/2202, 11/4/2202, and 12/8/2202, suspending the collection of motor vehicle and diesel fuel taxes. This resolution has been assigned to the Committee on Ways and Means. That committee recommends that this resolution be adopted.
The gentleman from the 15th, Governor's Floor Leader Gamble, is recognized to present the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, I rise today to present to you House Resolution 66 on behalf of the Governor to ratify his executive orders since May of 2022 to suspend the collection of motor fuel and diesel fuel taxes which were pursuant to the supply chain state of emergency. Following the Governor and General Assembly's bipartisan efforts in last year's legislative session with House Bill 304 and the Governor's ensuing executive orders that were issued monthly in consultation with leadership in the General Assembly, this resolution would simply ratify the Governor's executive orders to temporarily suspend the collection of motor fuel and diesel fuel taxes. This is a procedural step. The Governor's action delivered much-needed temporary relief to Georgians at the pump, which saved taxpayers approximately $1.7 billion and roughly $150 million to $170 million per month. Moreover, the Governor's actions have kept our economy open and strong, and we as Georgians collectively respond to the higher inflation that we've dealt with. With that, Mr. Speaker, that is House Resolution 66. I'd be happy to take any questions.
The gentleman yield for a question.
I will yield for a question.
The lady from the 108th, Representative Clark, Jasmine Clark, to your left, has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
I'm just curious, have we had to ratify all of the other executive orders from the governor, or is this just these ones related to the gas tax?
So as it relates to this gas tax, this is what we're ratifying today. And again, this is a procedural step that we need to accomplish in order to officially approve what was done.
Thank you.
With that, Mr. Speaker,
no further questions.
I would yield the well and ask for this body's favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the adoption of the resolution, the yeas were 170, the nays are 0. The resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. Wow, thanks. That completes the rules calendar. We'll move on to afternoon orders at this time. Representative Teddy Reese is recognized for an afternoon order. Representative Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the morning of July 4th, 1944, Promise E. King, an African-American duly registered to vote in Georgia and local Barbara, sought to cast a ballot at the Muskogee County Courthouse in Columbus. It was at the Democratic Party's primary election. Shortly after entering the courthouse, King was roughly turned away by law enforcement officers who escorted him back out to the street. During this time, the Democratic Party monopolized political activity in Georgia as in other southern states, and the party's primary provided the only occasion in which a voter was offered a choice between candidates seeking office in state and local government. For these very reasons, blacks were denied participation in the primaries by the Georgia Party and its county affiliates. King challenge to the white primary had been planned by a group of Columbus African-American civil rights activists led by Dr. Thomas Brewer. By prearrangement, King, after his rejection, walked several blocks to the office of Oscar D. Smith Sr., a white attorney who prepared a lawsuit against members of the Muskogee County Democratic Party Executive Committee, chaired by Joseph Chapman, for denying King his right as a citizen of the United States to vote. In September of 1945, the arguments in King v. Chapman commenced in federal district court in Macon, Georgia. Smith and King's other principal lawyer, Harry S. Strozier of Macon, argued that their client's right to vote under the 14th, 15th, and 17th Amendment of the United States Constitution had been violated. They asked for $5,000 in damages. On October the 12th, 1945, federal judge Holt Davis ruled in King's favor and awarded him $100 at a 7% interest. Because the United States Supreme Court had recently declared Texas's white-only primary unconstitutional on the grounds that the Texas Democratic Party was part of the state government, the defense had argued that the Democratic Party in Georgia was a private entity. On March 6, 1946, in the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans, Louisiana Judge Samuel H. Sibley, a Georgia native, denied the contention of the defense in King and Chapman, arguing that Georgia election laws associated the state with the Democratic Party and that the state therefore put its powers behind the rules of the party. The Supreme Court refused to hear the case, which means the ruling stood. King was courageous in his confrontation with law officers on Independence Day in 1944, and brave in his determination to pursue the case despite threats made against his life. King was not, however, a political activist. He was born on February the 5th, 1900 to Lucy and Ed King near Hatchetchubby in Russell County, Alabama, where his father was a sharecropper. King never received any formal education. As a boy, he moved with his family to Columbus, where he worked with his family on a crew building the Meritas Cotton Mill. Honors came to King from the political establishment that had once spurned him. In 1973, Mayor Bob Hendricks proclaimed July 28th as Promise E. King Day in Columbus, Georgia. In 1977, the Democratic Executive Committee of Muskogee County paid King his $100 plus interest. And in 2000, Governor Barnes signed into law a bill naming a stretch of state road in Columbus as Promise King Highway. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Hutchinson is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, colleagues, I want to introduce you to 13-year-old Tragan. He is a sweet, caring boy with good manners, and he likes to tell jokes. He also likes being read to, singing karaoke, listening to Kids Bop, and playing with Thomas the Tank Engine. Tragan is one of hundreds of kids who are available for adoption in Georgia today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Chairlady Darlene Taylor is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For all those that are looking to protect the Okefenokee Swamp, right now we're having hearings with EPD, and tonight you can join an enthusiastic group at Manuel's Tavern. They're going to have a hookup where they can zoom into the meetings. It's going to be from 5:30 to 9 p.m. at Manuel's Tavern. Come and let EPD know how you feel about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Scott is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we honor Ahmaud Arbery Day in Georgia and around the world. We will gather this afternoon at 6 p.m. at the Beltline West Side Trail entrance at Lee Plus White Street in Southwest Atlanta to run or walk 2.23 miles. Ahmaud Arbery's murder and delayed prosecution shows how bipartisan legislation can pass to balance the scale of justice. As a result of Ahmaud's death, the citizen arrest law was repealed and a new hate crime law was enacted. We are still fighting for law enforcement accountability. Ahmaud Arbery's name will forever remain alive yet his blood still screams from the streets in Georgia. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Chairman Saines is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Special Rules is very proud to review potential state holidays and symbols, and as such, we saw it fitting to bring back to this House a very crucial symbol of a new legislator's first bill. We're proud to introduce Bill, the largemouth bass fish, back to the House, and Rep. New has let me borrow it for this purposes, and it will be transferred over to each new member who passes their first big catch in getting a bill through the rigorous process in this House.
Have you passed a bill yet? Yourself?
I could always do for one or two more, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, just checking. You are still new, aren't you? Representative Brad Thomas is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For those of you that enjoy water, roads, bridges, electricity, cars, airplanes, cell phones, computers, consumer goods, and pretty much everything else, stop by room 230, February 28th from 8 to 10 a.m. for Engineers at the Capitol Day. And come by and thank an engineer and enjoy some great sci-fi humor. Live long and prosper. I yield the well.
For what purpose does Chair Lady Cooper rise? Mash your button. There.
To make a motion, Mr. Speaker.
State your motion.
I move that we recommit House Bill 226 to the Rules Committee.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 226 by Representative Cooper and others to be entitled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 4, Title 49 in the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to medical assistance generally.
On the lady's motion that HB 226 be withdrawn from the calendar and recommitted to the Rules Committee, is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Recognizing and commending Ryan Degner. Recognizing and commending Mr. Jeffrey White. Commending the Latin American Chamber of Commerce of Georgia. Congratulating and commending Sandy Puckett for receiving the 2023 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Recognizing and commending Ms. Rochelle White. Commending Taiwan for its relationships with the United States and the state of Georgia. Congratulating and commending Deborah Howard McMillan for receiving the 2023 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Recognizing February 27, 2023 as National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending Ebony Austin. Commending Rona Lynn Bennett. Congratulating and commending Regina Deloach for receiving the 2023 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Recognizing and commending Judge Catherine Armstrong on her outstanding public service. Recognizing and commending Lisa Marie Bristol on her outstanding public service. Recognizing May 1 to 7, 2023 as Tardive Dyskinesia Awareness Week. Recognizing February 27, 2023 as Black Commerce Day at the State Capitol. Congratulating and commending Brenda Grissom for receiving the 2023 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award, and commending Trent North, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolution? resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We're moving on to announcements. Chair Ballinger. Chair Lady Ballinger is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Juvenile Justice Committee will meet this afternoon from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We have a hard stop at 5. We'll be considering several bills, and it will be in 415 in the Coverdale Legislative Office Building. Thank you so much.
Chair, thank you, Chair Lady. We have business this afternoon. Members, be aware. Representative Holland is recognized for an announcement. Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Both the City of Atlanta delegation and the Fulton County delegation will be meeting this afternoon at 4 o'clock in Capitol 216. Look forward to seeing you there.
Representative Nulowitz, recognized for an announcement. I hope you just have one. Just one.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Cobb County delegation will meet on Monday, February 27th at noon. Lunch will be provided. Will be in CLOB 514. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Chairman Chokus, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Listen up, everybody, on the Small Business Development Committee. We will be having our meeting on Monday, May 27th at 8 a.m., 506 CLOB. We've got a couple of bills, and we'll be having presentations from the National Federation of Independents and Georgia Retailer Association. So please be there Monday at 8 a.m., 506. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair Lady Cooper. No, you aren't recognized. You were just walking down front. My bad. Thought I'd surprise you. Think I did.
Oh, yeah.
Chairman Carpenter. Chairman Carpenter is recognized for an announcement. There he is.
Thank you so much, Speaker. So, Lottery Oversight and Gaming will meet at 1 o'clock. Capitol 341. It's my one and only chance to feel like Chairman Richard Smith, so I look forward to seeing you there.
I'm coming to that meeting. I want to see that. Chairman Stevens is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're going to your committees today, especially those of you on the coastal delegation, we have lunch today in room 510. Stop by. It's fried chicken and greens. Enjoy.
All right. Chairman Williamson recognized for an announcement.
There'll be a Majority Caucus luncheon upon adjournment in room 403. Majority Caucus luncheon. Philip.
Public Safety Chairman, Chairman Collins, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee will meet about 1:15, 1:30-ish in 606 CLOB. We're taking up 3 bills. Thank you very much. Committee members, please try to attend.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Holly is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You beautifully overworked people. I can hear the growl in your stomachs, and that's why you can go over to CLOB 307. We're going to have the Working Families Caucus. We're going to be talking about housing and affordability with Elizabeth Apley. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
That concludes our announcements. I have one. We enabled a gentleman to stay young for one more day yesterday. Representative Sampson is, he had a birthday yesterday. I won't be saying what birthday that was, but happy birthday to Representative Sampson. Let's all stand and wish him a happy birthday. Representative Sampson, happy birthday, sir. Well, we're about done. We do have pages today. They've done great work, so let's give our pages a round, and members, we'll meet you down front and have a photo with your page. Thank you, pages. Chair recognizes the majority leader of this House for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Monday, February 27th, 2023.
On the motion of the majority leader that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Monday, February 27, 2023, all those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Yep, it's clear. The ayes